Hello, yogis. Welcome. I'm going to check the picture here and the sound, so let me know if there's any problems on your end. Let's see if my ancient iPad can help me look at this live video. It might not be able to yet, so hang on. Sorry, it's going to take just a second to get going here. Yeah, it's not seeing it. So, try again. Here. There we go. There's the live from the meditation bunker here in West Oakland. And it looks like the shot is fine. Are you guys having an okay time hearing me tonight? Let me see, do we have any texts? Hello. There we go. Everybody hear me okay? Any problems? We can hear you loud and clear. All right, great. In that case, I'm going to put away the YouTube and I'm going to get out the timer, the clock, so I can see where we're at here. This is my beautiful timer. All right, so welcome to tonight's class. I'm super excited to be here. I've been thinking about it all day, and of course for weeks in advance. This is sort of like part B of class 1. So part A of class 1 was, as you probably well know, Michael Owens on Sunday night. The illustrious Michael Owens began a, let's say, an impassioned reading of the Vimalakirti Nirdesa Sutra, his very own translation. And he performed it live for you in the Dharma Doors class. And so tonight what we're going to do is some guided meditation as usual, inspired for the next 8 weeks by those readings. So it will be very similar in a way to the guided meditations we've been doing for about a year now, where it's definitely in the Mahayana, non-dual, vast spacious awareness, natural mind kind of zone. But we're going to, of course, aim it a little more particularly at some of the stuff that we're hearing in our Vimalakirti class on Sunday, so that these classes will line up, they'll be coordinated. And it's funny because earlier in the year, Michael Owens is teaching his class, I'm teaching my class. We weren't aware really of what each other was doing in any detailed way. But some of the people who were going to both classes were going, you guys keep talking about the same stuff. And so we got together and compared notes and thought, yeah, let's actually talk about the same stuff on purpose and coordinate the classes. So we came up with this 8-week Vimalakirti extravaganza. As I said, Michael Owens was using his own translation, kind of, I think if I understood correctly, kind of Robert Thurman translation, mixed with Chinese translation, mixed with his own, Michael's own Chinese translation, and then pared down to be short enough to read live for the camera. I have my really wonderful old hardcover book of Robert Thurman's translation. Very, very nice. I got it at Moe's bookstore in Berkeley for $12, and I still have to tape the cover on, but I've had it for a while. It's a very, very nice book, so I may open that up at some point tonight. As usual, because of the as the kids say, Rona situation out there, we are not live from the San Francisco Dharma Collective, not surrounded physically in the same space by the Sangha, the wonderful San Francisco Dharma Collective Sangha. Sangha and collective are kind of the same word, so it's a little redundant to say it that way, so maybe the San Francisco Dharma Sangha of the collective, I don't know. Anyway, we're not at the space. I'm here in a warehouse in West Oakland, broadcasting live my pirate signal, so that we can keep the San Francisco Dharma Collective afloat during this shutdown time. And so, as usual, we're going to beg for money for the San Francisco Dharma Collective. Dana, generosity. If you listened to the talk by Michael Owens, his reading, we learned that one of the features of a Buddha field is it's a field of generosity, right? Very important feature of the Buddha field. And so if you have wealth to spare and you're feeling generous, then please, there will be links in the comments for the San Francisco Dharma Collective's site where you can donate to them. So please do that to keep our wonderful Dharma Collective going. So without any further ado, we're going to sit down and we're going to meditate. Okay? So let's begin our guided meditation. I want you to arrange yourself on your meditation seat, your dhyānasana, and make sure that your hips are well above your knees are below your hips, so that your pelvis gets rotated forward. You know, the front part is down and the back part is up just a little bit, and that gets your lower back to do that inward curve thing, and that makes your back go up nice and straight. And then your shoulders kind of hang from there, very, very relaxed, very open. Your chest is open, upright, not hunched forward, open and upright. So it's that curve in the lower back that gets the whole thing just right. And then your chin is slightly tucked so that the back of your neck is open. You can do this guided meditation with your eyes open or eyes closed. And as we begin the actual meditation, as usual, we are going to do some shamatha, some shine, some just relaxed concentration, as we do every week, just to bring ourselves into presence, bring ourselves into collectedness. Shamatha just means, peaceful abiding, peaceful collectedness. And in fact, another word we might use for this aspect of shamatha is samadhi. And as you know, samadhi often gets translated as concentration. And there's this, in our language, concentration just always means that you're tense and you're really trying to keep your mind on the object. But, samadhi doesn't really mean exactly concentration. I mean, that's part of it, but it has this mood or connotation of collectedness, of unification, of bringing all the pieces together in a harmonious, integrated whole, right? So that we're not just trying to focus hard or stay focused in that really tight way. This is relaxed, this is pleasant, and it's unified, it's collected, it's gathered. There's a sense of a gathering together, a harmonious gathering together. So I want you to simply find something to focus on. I'll guide us focusing on breathing and also kind of pleasant energy in the body. But you can focus on a mantra, you can focus on a visualization, whatever makes you feel pleasantly collected, where all the, during the day, all the pieces of your mind are running around all over, and you're kind of doing 1,000 things and going in 1,000 directions. And now the idea is to very, 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 very gently bring all those 1,000 arrows of direction together, so that they're all pointing in the same direction. They're all kind of unified and harmoniously brought together. So if you want to do that with breathing, I suggest you do very long in-breaths and very long out-breaths during this shamatha section, so that you are doing whatever breath is comfortable and not stressful in any way, but also not just normal and natural. It's actually a longer in-breath and a longer out-breath. That's number one. So you're just enjoying, you want it to be enjoyable, this kind of slow, deep breathing. And because I'm talking, I won't be doing that breathing. And you have to make it work for you anyway. So if, because of whatever's going on with you, maybe you can do really long in-breaths and really long out-breaths, great. Or maybe you're having trouble breathing. Certainly a lot of that going around, and if that's the case, then you want to just do whatever breaths are easy and natural. But if you can, you do these longer in-breaths and longer out-breaths, and you enjoy that. And just let that be a pleasant focus. And in fact, the way I want you to focus tonight, if you can, is, when people think about focusing, they tend to think about concentrating on a tiny spot. And since we're talking about samadhi in this bigger way of collectedness or unification or harmonious gathering, let's spread the attention over the entire body at once, or big pieces of the body, so that it's not just a tiny, narrow laser beam point. It's like a broad spotlight covering the whole body, so that you get that sense of pleasant breathing all the way from the nose down to the perineum, all the way from the perineum back up to the nose, just the whole flow, the unfolding of breath outward, the infolding of breath inward, like that. So this, remember, again, concentration does not have to be narrow, so we're doing this wide concentration on the whole body and feeling very, very, very relaxed and very gathered, pleasantly collected. Let's just do that quietly for a little while here. And as you're continuing to just do these long breaths and feel this pleasant flow of maybe sort of buzzy energy in the body and the breathing, spreading a kind of glow all over the body, you're just relaxing into that. Allow your eyes to be so heavy and so relaxed that you cannot move them or open them. There's no tension in the eye muscles or eyelids. Your face is completely relaxed. Your mouth and lips is released and let go. Your upper and lower teeth are not touching. So the whole face, the scalp, the back of the head is just soft, relaxed, open, at ease, at rest, at peace, quiet, and feeling good. throat to relax and the shoulders to release and let go, and the neck to feel gentle and at ease. And notice as you relax your face and head, your neck and shoulders, that a kind of wave of peaceful relaxation flows through the whole body, together with the pleasant energy from this long breathing. You might even feel like sort of this hum of aliveness, this glow of vibratory, delicious vibratory, scintillating energy in the body as you breathe. And then allow the arms, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers, the thumbs, all to just become as limp as wet rags, completely at ease, completely at rest, utterly, fully, totally relaxed. And notice again as you do that, that sort of like background readiness to take action, which is a little bit tense, that all just drains away. You have no readiness to act at all. You're becoming very, very still. And again, stillness through relaxation, not stillness through tightness. And then allow the abdomen, the torso in the front and on the sides and in the back and all the way inside. Let the entire torso just become much more at ease, much more restful, much more relaxed, open. It's just a kind of gentle intention that the whole thing just kind of give up, just relax and let go, and just completely commit to sitting here for a while. We're just going to sit. We're going to sit very, very still. And feel that pleasant relaxation in the face and head, the neck and shoulders, the arms and the hands, and the whole core of the body, the whole torso, just soothed, open, at ease, relaxed with this long, long breath, filling it with pleasant energy. And finally, almost without even needing to mention it, the legs and feet become completely limp, totally restful, completely at ease. A big wave of relaxation goes from your head all the way down to your toes, filling the body with peace and softness and gentleness and ease. Now the mind is bright, the mind is clear, the mind is energized, and yet everything is also very still. Everything is also very, very relaxed and still while being energized, bright, crisp, clear, awake. So just feel that yummy, delicious, relaxed energy and the bright, crisp, clear awareness at the same time. It was interesting on Sunday when Michael was listing the paramitas, right, the 10 perfections. One of them was determination. And in Pali that's adhitthana, but in Sanskrit it's adhisthana. And adhisthana, determination, is also the word that's used for sitting perfectly still in meditation. It's one of the 10 perfections. So when we get very, 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 very still like this, still through relaxation, not still through tension or locking everything down, but we're so relaxed, and the body has its own kind of samadhi, right? The body itself has a kind of collectedness, a kind of unification, almost a sacred vessel or an alembic of stillness and energy and bright awareness that inside it, that it has a sort of determination. It has a kind of, or we could say ability to just stay perfectly still. And that is adhisthana. Sthana is like the same as the English word stand, right? To make your stand, to take your place. Not standing up physically necessarily, but to make a stand or to have a spot. And so adhisthana has this great, again, it's determination, but the image in Sanskrit is like you're standing your ground, And so in this case, we're gonna sit with this beautiful sense of adhisthana, like this is our spot, and the already fully awakened Bodhisattva that each of us is already beginning to express through this beautiful determination of relaxed, alert, perfectly composed, unified, Buddha-like sitting. Good. Wonderful. So now, just allow, we've relaxed the body, right? Now just allow the core of your mind to utterly relax. Core of the mind just melts like butter. And every time the mind begins to grab onto something, to crimp or tighten or hold, or make a fist of any sort, you simply relax again, melt the core of your mind. And so you're not grabbing on to anything. And if you do grab on, suddenly you're working with a thought or you're being with something, you just simply notice that's happening, relax, open. So just like the relaxed body, we're relaxing the core of the mind. Anytime it grabs onto something, let go of that. Remembering that to let go does not mean to push away. It simply means to relax. So every time the mind tightens, relax the core of your mind. Let's just do that together for a while here. Notice that there's no focus object at all. Simply allowing the mind to be open and relaxed. resting place for the mind in this. We're not concentrating on anything. We're not coming back to any particular object. Instead, we're allowing the mind to become like the body, so relaxed that it's perfectly still. So relaxed that it's just wide open. And each time you notice that it begins to do that old habit of grabbing onto anything at all, any object at all, even the breath, even some kind of focus object that you're used to meditating on, just relax and let the core of your mind melt like butter till it glows like a ghee lamp in just this kind of bright, clear, ultra-lucid awareness with no tension at all. You can be breathing normally now, by the way. We're not continuing to do the long breathing unless you're excited about continuing that. You can let go of that. And if you notice this is getting kind of sleepy or kind of muddy, sit up straight again and just intend that you be very alert. We want, again, this mind to be bright, very, very bright. Not bright like a light, but bright with awareness, crisp, clear, lucid, and not muddy or sleepy. So we're just making sure that we're staying with this experience with a lot of clarity. And if you're, in some places it may be late or you may be tired for whatever reason. So if that's the case, you can open your eyes if that will help. And if that's not enough, then still maintaining your adhisthana on your spot, very, very, very slowly stand up and meditate standing, so that regardless of the posture, you are staying both completely relaxed in the mind, but also very lucid in the mind. There's a kind of brilliant clarity. It's very, very important. Each time the mind comes back to grabbing onto something, grabbing onto a thought, listening to something, feeling something, paying attention in any way, just relax that. Come back to just openness. Just openness. And you'll notice the mind becomes very, very still. Again, this is a kind of samadhi, right? The collectedness, the unification. So the body is still, and the relaxed mind begins to align with that and become very, very still also. So it's a unified, integrated whole. Now, you can keep doing that. Or if you wish, you can allow the mind to begin to pick up objects or notice what's happening, notice an external sound, notice a body sensation, notice a thought. I should say awareness itself is noticing these. Not the small machinery of the mind, but you're just allowing awareness to notice, and it can be with sensory objects a little bit. And as you're doing this, I want you to notice that there's a way we have of when the mind or when awareness kind of encounters an object, and we begin to layer concepts upon it, we begin to fabricate around it, and as part of those concepts and fabrications, we kind of judge it. And so, in accordance with this first chapter of Vimalakirti Nirdesha, I want you to notice that quality of having an opinion or having a judgment about whatever's arising in awareness in the moment, and instead see it as already perfect. So a thought arises just regardless of whether you think you should be thinking or not thinking, or you want a thought or you don't want a thought, or the content of the thought is something you don't want, or the content of the thought is something you do want, all those layers of fabrication, just drop all that and just think, or just have the attitude of, it's already perfect. It's already perfect and pure. It's ideal, just the way it is. External sound could be around here, super loud motorcycle or some kind of crashing sound or whatever. Or, a beautiful singing bird or whatever. I keep hearing that in the background. It's my parrot upstairs, Christina's parrot. I can still hear him. But there's sounds we like, sounds we don't like, sounds we want, sounds we don't want, all that. But notice that when the sound arises, it's already perfect, already pure, already complete, does not need to be changed in any way, right? So very slowly, awareness encounters objects, and we see those objects as perfect, pure, complete, already. So again, it's not a thought we're having about them exactly, it's more of an attitude. If you want to or need to, you could use a label like perfect or already perfect. And that might aid in doing this more deeply, but it's really more of an attitude that whatever arises, it's already pure and clean and bright and but made of jewel, right? It's already perfect. So let's be with whatever's arising in that way. Allow awareness to behold the perfection in all things. awareness, noticing the inherent perfection, already existing completeness and purity and beauty of everything that arises, including the meditator, including the seeming person sitting there in meditation, including this being who is maybe having negative self-talk or thinking about ways they could be doing it better or wondering if they're doing it right. In this case, it's already perfect, it's already complete, it's already bejeweled and brilliant, it's already pure. The radiant Bodhisattva that you already are is manifesting their perfection in this moment. Already complete, already shining in their Buddha field. Good. Continuing to notice the perfection of all that arises. I just want to have you now allow awareness to, we might say, use the imagination, or let's say a mild intention or visualization or playful state. Because each of us has within us a fully awakened Bodhisattva already. It means each of us has a Buddha field already. A perfectly pure, perfectly already complete, perfectly radiant Buddha field. And so, as a, let's say, intention or an imaginative exercise right now, let's just picture some of these Buddha fields that we are emanating around us. So first of all, it says a bodhisattva's Buddha field is a field of virtuous application. When he attains enlightenment, living beings who live by all virtuous principles will be born in her Buddha field. So, as we're sitting here meditating together, just imagine or just have an intention or just notice this field of virtuous application, a field of doing good things, doing cool things, and just see if that can arise in your mind and notice the field, the Buddha field around you, manifesting this virtuous application. Another part of one's Buddha field is the skill in liberative technique. When she attains enlightenment, living beings skilled in all liberative techniques and activities will be born in her Buddha field. So this Buddha field emanating from the Bodhisattva within that shines all around is filled with skill in the techniques of liberation, ability to free oneself and others. And so feel that emanation of skill at liberative technique. Radiate it out, soak in it, be a field of liberative technique, skill at liberation. A bodhisattva's Buddha field also is the magnificence of the conception of the spirit of enlightenment. Right? The spirit of enlightenment has this bodhicitta, right? This wonderful spirit of awakening. The magnificence of the spirit of awakening, and just allow awareness to be filled with this magnificent spirit of awakening and radiate that everywhere to the millions and millions of galaxies and worlds in every direction. A bodhisattva's Buddha field is also a field of tolerance. When he attains enlightenment, living beings with the transcendences of tolerance, discipline, and the superior trance, held beautiful with the 32 auspicious signs, will be born in his Buddha field. So allow awareness to be completely filled with tolerance, radiate tolerance in all directions throughout this enormous Buddha field. Your Buddha field is radiating out to the entire billion world galaxy, right? Just multitude upon multitude upon multitude of beings in this Buddha field. Your Buddha field is the mind of total dedication. When you attain enlightenment, the ornament of all virtues will appear in your Buddha field. So, dedication. Be soaked in the dedication to bring compassion, healing, joy, and liberation to all beings, and just allow this dedication to radiate in all directions, filling the Buddha field. A bodhisattva's Buddha field is a field of wisdom. When she attains enlightenment, living beings who are destined for the ultimate will be born in her Buddha field. And so notice this wisdom. Notice the wisdom that's filling awareness, the wisdom that's radiating in all directions. Filling the billion world galaxy in all directions. And the Bodhisattva's Buddha field is the field of meditation. When they attain enlightenment, living beings who are evenly balanced through mindfulness and awareness will be born in their Buddha field. So allow your mind, allow awareness to be soaked, steeped, pervaded with meditation. And allow this meditation to radiate outward, bringing all beings in all universes, everywhere, the joy of meditation. So noticing all these qualities of awareness, all these qualities of the Buddha field radiating in all directions, and all the other qualities of the Buddha field that we learned the other night. Just kind of imagine those, picture those, feel those, manifest those, be those. Just allow that to become a clear, radiant, jewel-like, crystalline, glowing vision. And be it. Good. Now you can let go of that or continue to manifest the Buddha field, manifest your Buddha field for a while here. Either way, feel free to orient yourself to the room. If your eyes were closed, you might want to look around a little bit in a very gentle way to just kind of allow your being to orient. And feel free to move and stretch. I'm going to have a little sip of water because I've been speaking for an hour. And gradually just allow yourself to come back to the room. That was for those of you who needed a second bell. So, I love this sutra very much. It's really funny. It's got great scenes in it, and it's beautiful in a lot of ways. One of my favorite parts, actually, is the list of the names of the Bodhisattvas who showed up at the beginning. And, this is part of Sanskrit poetry. It's the poetics of these lists, these ultra sumptuous, ultra delicious, baroque, overflowing lists of names with these outrageous meanings, right? And one of my goals is to just take this list of Sanskrit names of bodhisattvas. So we all are sort of bodhisattvas in training, or let's say bodhisattvas, hidden bodhisattvas. But these bodhisattvas at the beginning of the sutra are fully grown, so to speak, fully manifested bodhisattvas. And they have these wonderful names, and speaking the names themselves is a kind of enchantment, especially if you understand the meanings a little bit. And it's funny, I have never found a list of translations of all these names that match the Sanskrit. As Michael said on Sunday, there's a Chinese list that is different. It's missing some, it's got some others in there. I'm not sure that the Chinese translations match the Sanskrit translations, but all that aside, if we just relax and kind of get into these names, it's really wonderful, and I have enough training in Sanskrit to enjoy them. There's a lot of stuff like Dharmeshwara, the Lord of the Dharma, or Lord of the teaching, or Lord of truth. But there's also stuff like Ratnapani, jewel in the hand. Ratna Mudra Hasta, having the jewel gesture hand. Deva Raja, the king of angels, or king of the deities, the devas, I mean. Ratna Shri, the blessed jewel. Indrajala, Indra's net. There's a bodhisattva named Indra's net. I like that one. There's Gandhahasti, which I think means holding the fragrance. There's Padma Shri Garbha, the blessed lotus womb. And Avalokiteshvara in there, like the Bodhisattva of Bodhisattvas shows up. There's a lot of these names that are like, mountain of jewels, or mountain of virtues, or, this kind of flower garland, and that kind of fragrance, and this kind of, there's a couple in here that have to do with elephants, and lots to do with jewels, and lots to do with lions, lots of lions and elephants and so on. And so one of these days I'll see if I can get a better translation of this list. It's just wonderful. It's gorgeous poetry, and I haven't done it justice by kind of quickly naming some of them, because part of the thing is that it's a long list, and the list is sort of like evocative and hypnotic. So it's better if you can just go one after another, after another, after another. It's really, really nice. So I love that part of the opening of the Vimalakirti Nirdesa Sutra. And of course, we were working with some of the other parts of the first chapter in the meditation where we kind of flipped it around and worked first with the already existing perfection, right? So you have this great scene where Shariputra is magically motivated by the Buddha to ask, to kind of think, geez, if the Buddha field is so pure, if the Buddha himself, his Buddha field is so pure, how come the world is so awful and disgusting and horrible? And so it's just this great moment where he kind of like farts in church and has this awful thought, this awful kind of like thought that probably everyone has upon hearing this idea that it's, the Buddha field is already perfect and pure. And so the Buddha kind of magically makes him have that thought and then shows, right? Puts his big toe down and shows how actually on some level we can perceive the whole world as already perfect, already pure, not needing any purification. And, I don't see this so much as a philosophy of purity, like nothing needs to be changed in the world, but it's more of an attitude we can have in meditation that allows us to drop all the planning and all the judgment and all the, push and pull on experience and all the ways we're trying to do and just drop all that in our meditation. It's more of a practice of perfection. We drop all that and just allow the mind to again come to this beautiful openness and appreciative wonder of the already existing perfection of existence, right? It's a wonderful kind of direction to point the mind, not some kind of reason to never do anything or let, everything be horrible. So now I'll have a look at your questions, if you've got any questions coming up. If you have anything you want to ask me, then I'll take some questions here. And maybe next week I can find that in the list. Michael Owens was kind enough to give me the Chinese list of Bodhisattva names, which are cool, but again, don't match the wonderfulness in my mind. I'm sort of a Sanskrit snob, so I like to see the Sanskrit. The real names. Bodhisattva's real names are in Sanskrit. Okay, I am not seeing any questions from you guys. Anybody have any questions about this meditation? Anything they want to ask me? Please go ahead. Maybe I better put these reading glasses back on because I'm having a hard time seeing what they are. Okay. So I'm getting this question, kind of a half question. Isn't the Buddha field still somehow kind of a dualistic concept, right? And, I appreciate your question, Yaroslav. And yet isn't everything a dualistic concept? If it's a concept at all, it must be dualistic. And so we don't want to set up a dualism between non-dual stuff and dual stuff and say, oh, only non-dual stuff is good, and then we've got this dualistic stuff and we don't want it. Instead, the minute way before concepts, as soon as we've got lakshana, as soon as we've got fabrication at all, we're already in a kind of dualism, and especially when we're way up on the level of concepts like Buddha field. we're going to have some subtle dualism in there, or maybe even not so subtle dualism in there. And that's fine. We're not against dual concepts or against dualism. It's more of an inspiration. It's more of an idea of allowing oneself to notice this perfection, notice the confidence and the clarity and the brightness of mind and the playfulness and spontaneity. All these qualities that we bring to our meditation are all wrapped up. All the compassion, all the wisdom, all the dedication, all that. It's all wrapped up in this idea of the Buddha field. It's a great idea. Again, not that we're trying to build that into some kind of anything. It's a skillful way to allow awareness or allow the mind to engage, not a dualistic concept of our Buddha field versus not the Buddha field or whatever. So I would say, don't worry about stuff like that. If you're thinking about a concept at all, it's already dualistic. So, and we're okay with dualistic stuff. I was having some chocolate today that was exquisitely dualistic. So we're not worried about that. But thank you for the question. I think I've often thought stuff like that. And you liked seeing everything. Yaroslav also comments that he liked seeing everything as already perfect. Me too. Again, I don't necessarily treat this as some kind of philosophy. It's a state of mind, right? It's a place we go in meditation to allow our mind to rest in this already existing natural perfection of everything. So it's a kind of mood more than some kind of idea or philosophy. It's the same thing with things like emptiness. You know, we can have a philosophy of emptiness, and that's one thing, but there's also just the practice or mood or seeing of emptiness in things, which is its own kind of exquisite awakening, right? Rather than getting wrapped up in the philosophical concept of emptiness, we're simply good at noticing emptiness, being emptiness, manifesting emptiness. And it's a different thing than a philosophy. Okay, so and as the mind takes in these concepts, I think the skill in meditation and the skill in manifesting as a wise and compassionate person in the earth grows. Right? There's something about these sutras and hearing them aloud and meditating on some of the ideas in there, even as ideas, even as visualizations, even as obvious, just imaginary exercises. They're very healing for the mind. They're very good for clarifying the vision, in meditation, and they help us to actually deepen our less fabricated meditations, deepen our jhana, deepen our vipassana, deepen our samadhi, because the mind is being brought into unity. Part of, for example, like the list of bodhisattvas, if you hear it in Sanskrit and you understand the Sanskrit, or if you hear a translation and you understand that, it's so beautiful and inspiring and kind of evocative of all these principles and all these aspirations and beautiful smells and beautiful sights and beautiful sounds and elegant, gorgeous animals and all kinds of things like that. It's, in fact, bringing the mind into a kind of contemplative samadhi, right? It's a samadhi of born of beauty, just by getting into the delicious, gorgeous poetics of the names. It kind of brings the mind into samadhi. This is why saying concentration for samadhi is not exactly correct, because, or I don't mean it's not correct, I mean it's not exactly rich enough, it's not full enough, because imagination like this, poetry like this, contemplating beautiful things or inspiring things, you'll notice that sometimes the mind is so inspired and uplifted and made subtle by those ideas or by those visions or by hearing those sounds. It just unifies, it brings it into that unified, collected, harmonious state. And it brings tremendous joy when the mind unifies like that. And so it's possible just by reading poetry, just by reading a sutra, just by reading names of bodhisattvas, just by contemplating some of these ideas in the sutra, that the mind becomes tremendously unified, tremendously clarified, and begins to notice or begins to manifest its qualities of liberation, right? So it's very, very important not to only see our job as like, okay, we're going to sit in meditation and we're going to do the technique and we're going to get all non-dual and everything will be empty. I mean, that's nice, but there's so many other ways in, so many other ways to work, and they're skillful and they're helpful and they allow us to work our magic in the world, you know, work our the liberating power of our Buddha field, right? That we're going to fully manifest someday. So that's what I have to say tonight. I'm again extremely, extremely, extremely happy to be doing this. I thank you, Michael Owens, for doing the first part of part one, the A section of part one on Sunday. Yeah, that was really fun and beautiful. And again, I'm just going to say, hey, if you like these teachings and you like these meditations and you want to support San Francisco Dharma Collective, San Francisco Dharma Collective would be only too happy to accept your gift of generosity, right? That's another one of the qualities that a bodhisattva has in her Buddha field, is the quality of generosity, right? And so if you feel motivated to support San Francisco Dharma Collective, there's the links in the notes there from Katie, and you can go to the San Francisco Dharma Collective website and donate at any time. Be sure to, if it asks what programs you like, be sure to say you love the Vimalakirti show, the Dharma Doors, right? So, let's see. Okay. And thank you to all the volunteers who help to make everything go when the collective is running. And even now, when the doors are closed, there's volunteers still making lots of stuff happen, still making the website happen, still making emails happen, still making art happen. Our very own Jenny Dahl created the beautiful artwork for the Vimalakirti series that I just love that artwork. So great going, Jenny. And to all the other members of the Sangha out there, all the other collectivoids, all the other Dharma freaks and mutants and friends, all the foxes and vixens and cats and kittens out there. It's great to see you tonight. It's so much fun to be here with you. And I look forward very much to being with you next week. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.